from the deepest depths of the dark web. Dark of the night.
The sign of the wolf, Alex, is a symbol that cultures all over the world have been fearful of since civilization began.
I don't know if that's right or wrong. I don't know if we should be as afraid as we always have been. Have we been given reason to? Sure, lots of reasons. We've been given reasons in film, in literature, in the lives of the ancients who've seen these animals.
That's right.
And what they can do. But tonight we will try to reach out and we will try to make peace.
Welcome to Dark of the Night, Night Crawlers. I'm Eric Yearwood.
I'm Alex Myers. Tonight, Eric is going to drink some water out of a piece of clay that we're going to mold into a dog paw, a wolf paw, and you're going to turn into a werewolf.
Correct.
And then I'm going to sort of dialogue with you so that we can make peace in the 1,000-year human werewolf war. And this is just sort of standard boilerplate stuff that I had to get out of the way. I think it's easy to track, and I won't mention it again.
Well, it's an interesting thing that you, the Night Crawlers, get to be a part of, and will not be the first to attempt this. This is something that is a recipe that is as old as time. Drinking water from a wolf's paw is a surefire way to become a werewolf, and we're going to give it a shot.
Well, I want to say hello, Night Crawlers. I want to say hello, Ed Toast. I want to say hello, Weenus Grabber. I want to say Old Fort hello. I want to say Dr. Watney hello. And I want to say, Eric, it's an exciting time to be on the cusp of peace with a werewolf. But I want to catch up people who don't know about the human werewolf war. And so I'm gonna leap up.
By all means.
I'm gonna leap up, and we're gonna have I am an expert on the human werewolf war.
Correct. It's important that you guys get a little history lesson. So, Alex, why don't you take us there?
Well, Night Crawlers, Eric, I have spent 2/4 of the last year studying the human werewolf war, the 1,000-year human werewolf war. I am an expert. And I am going to have to move to the other side of the slide. So, I don't know how I can do that. Is this the edge of the camera frame? I'll stand here. Ask me anything, Night Crawlers. I want to catch you up because not everyone knows about the 1,000-year-long human werewolf war. And Eric, let me know what questions we have. Shall I start with some basics?
By all means.
The human werewolf war began in 4000 BC when the world was created. And as soon as the world was created, werewolves ran out of the dirt and the caves. Well, and when Adam saw them, because only Adam had been made at this point.
I think that's right.
And I'm not trying to be funny, but this guy knows what I'm talking about. You do know what I'm talking about. Only Adam was made at this point, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's my understanding.
So, from the beginning of time, humans, God created humans, and he created werewolves almost by accident, but they were there to fight us.
Those dirty dogs.
It wasn't until the fall of the Roman Empire, deep into the Dark Ages, when the war truly began. Had there been skirmishes? Yes. In ancient Athens, the Golden Age, 300 BC, dear Thucydides wrote during the Peloponnesian War, "On that hill doth I see a beast changing into a dog, but meaner." And it still walks upwards, but it changes back to its human form past the fullest of moons. These sightings go through time, but in the medieval times, when our governments, when the Western world failed us, then the war began. And to this day, as depicted in movies such as Underworld, we see this war. Now, Eric, do you see what are the Nightcrawlers asking?
Weenus Grabber says, there's only one place to find peace with wolves. You must call Hot Topic. Ed Toast says, where did they come from? Why did it start?
Why did it start? There has been a tension, obviously. I sort of laid out the existential background between humans and werewolves. Why did it start? Well, quite simply, an issue of mistrust, right? Eric, if you saw a guy walking down the street who looked different than you, what do?
I cross to the other side of the street,
Yep.
or I confront him and push him.
Now, what if in your country there was a whole other country crossing the road?
I mean, are you asking?
You start
is
a
that
war.
rhetorical?
You start a war. That's how World War I would start, or World War II, or name any world war. So, go ahead.
Nope. Napoleon.
Napoleon. And so why does any war start is basically my point. Mistrust, need for resources, difference of opinion, fear, right? Are you going to attack me first? It's basic game theory. Well, combine all the traditional reasons wars start, right, with the fact that werewolves are fucking horrible looking. They're horrible. They are a walking, talking abomination. And if I was driving a tank and I didn't know what to do with it, I'd drive towards a forest where werewolves lives, and I'd just run over the whole forest while firing the tank. And so, where do werewolves come from? And the movies are correct. It is a combination of things, right? Where do werewolves come from? From bites, Eric. I didn't ask you a question, so you don't. I was just sort of lobbing over to you. From other dark magic, right? Sipping water, from the paw print of a werewolf, from a curse, a culture's just a general. I'm not gonna say what culture's curse, but just let's say you live in a culture, and that culture does curses. Well, maybe one of those curses is turning you into a werewolf. What's the next question here?
Somebody says, seems like overkill. Somebody else says, Weenus Grabber says, what else changes a man or a wolf into a mere wolf? Into a werewolf besides the full moon?
Wait, repeat that question.
Yeah, what else changes a man or a wolf into a werewolf besides the full moon?
I feel like that's it. So, what? It's an interesting question. Traditionally, the full moon is what I'd call the regular transformative option, right?
Sure.
Once you're initiated into being a werewolf, the full moon is what is the only thing that's going to do it. When you start things off, though, you get a fun sort of bonus round where it's going to be different. It could be all the reasons that I mentioned earlier. It could be a curse.
Mm-hmm.
It could be drinking water out of a wolf's paw print.
Drinking piss.
I don't know about that one. What makes you say that? You're just sort of brainstorming.
Somebody did it. Somebody did it one time.
Who did that?
So, somebody has to.
What's the next question? Is there any other questions?
There's somebody says, where did they come from? Why? How did it start?
That's the same question. Are there no other questions? That's fine if there's not. I mean, this has been comprehensive. But I will say, this is a vicious, vicious war in which no prisoners can or should be taken. But that being said, there's so much potential lost in any war. Like, there's so many enemies to fight. You know, these monsters, like it or not, are Earthlings. They're Earthlings. They come from planet Earth. And there's things outside this planet that we need to fight together. And I would rather, if I'm looking up there and Luke Skywalker's race is marching at me with a bunch of Yodas as riding on Yodas, then I would rather be working in a platoon filled with werewolves than
A platoon.
Then a platoon. Then I don't know, a platoon of books, which wouldn't make any sense. I couldn't think of a comparison there. What I would say, the point was, is I would work with werewolves.
Someone says, Ed Toe says, how do we get them over to our side?
How do we get them over to our side? I think everything begins with understanding. Everything always begins with understanding, right? So let's say there's a werewolf out there. He's out there thinking, why do you hate me? Why do you want to, since the times of of pre-medieval times, you've been forming armies to fight me and mine, right? And so what's your problem? Well, maybe we got to be the first generation to look them in the eyes and say, I don't know. But you know what? But you got a point. I was being a shithead. You're a shithead too. You know what I'm saying? This is how peace begins. You say to someone, well, first of all, I'm sorry, and also, still fuck you a little, but you can say that to me, and I'm okay with that because I understand.
Or you say fudge you.
Right. That's a great way to de-escalate. Don't curse. Stop cursing at your enemy.
Somebody says, do werewolves have rational thoughts, or are they completely animalistic, driven only by an instinct to kill?
That's a great question. And now this is what, honestly, I am an expert on the 1,000-year human werewolf war. And just because I basically said the entire text of the background, I'm just going to finish it. AMA. But what I will say is this. We don't know, even an expert, and why this war has perpetuated for so long is I know my neighbors, right? I know my friends, or I know my neighbors.
You know Brad.
I know Brad. I know my neighbor Brad, and I work with Mr. Wine, the associate manager at Best Buy, and Mr. Wine. He has a daughter, Margot, that comes to work, and they're all human. And I can assume, I say, when they say they're going out to dinner, I say, well, I go out to dinner sometimes. And so we all have common ground, but we don't interact with werewolves on a daily basis. And that divides us. And tonight, when Eric will transform into a werewolf, we hope to find out what we can know. And I'm sorry if that's unsatisfactory, but consider me an explorer of werewolves, and tonight I'm going to do it. So, any other questions or?
Dr. Whitney says, "Are you an actual werewolf?"
No. Are there any other?
Somebody says, "Isn't the key to reconciliation finding a common enemy that poses more of a threat than each other?"
Yes. So and this is exactly my pitch. I'll start listing them: Vulcans, Klingons, Borg, Gray aliens, Space Dracula, Space Merlin, the Xenomorphs, Predator.
Xenomerlin.
Pick an alien. They're not here. Fuck them. They don't even know what our continents are. Let's fight them. Let's get together with the werewolves. Let's end this goddamn. And this is not cursing at them. This is cursing with them. Let's end this goddamn fucking war, and let's go run over a predator with our car. And we can buy a car together. That'd be fun. So I think I don't want to belabor this. I'm excited to move because I'm excited. We have a couple other segments, and I want to get to that point where I'm looking Eric in the eyes, and he is just a monster.
That was super informative. I don't know if it's true, but it was super great. Chris, is there any way in which this camera is a little bit soft over here? Or is that my imagination?
This camera looks great.
That one does? Okay, well. No one knows. Every time when we're in Best Buy and I look in the camera section, sometimes I'm just like, what is all this stuff?
Right. Cameras keep getting better that everything looks blurry to me.
Yeah.
With 8K, my eyes are going to be... I'm going to want to throw my eyes out.
I kind of want to be able to see into a pore and see all the molecules inside.
What is the next... Let's see. Well, we have... Let me ask this one question before we answer this one question. Do werewolves wear executive suits? If so, do they prefer Men's Warehouse or Joseph A. Banks?
I feel like that's a kind of a joke question a little bit.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, and I'll laugh with it, but I'll also say this. If you fuck with me, ever, man, oh man, will I make you wish that things could change for you with how they're ending up.
Guys, party on.
You have an exploration into werewolf information, right?
Well, here's the thing. When we talked about about the topic, and then you suggested, hey, why don't you turn into a werewolf? It occurred to me that I had done some werewolf research. About 4 or 5 years ago, we did another werewolf show.
Yep.
It was Do Werewolves Like Chamomile Tea?
Yeah.
And at that time, we were doing all sorts of research in the library.
Yeah, and the answer at the end of that episode was inconclusive.
We couldn't find any research on it, but we tried. We were in the library for 24/7.
That was one of our library episodes.
And we got kicked out. But when we got kicked out of the library, because we had all our live streaming equipment set up, and it hadn't even been invented yet, really, but I brought a cassette tape with me that I had checked out. And this is a cassette tape, allegedly. We can't prove it. I mean, maybe we can, but not yet. By someone who claims to have become a werewolf. Now, I want to just warn everybody out there that this may be a little bit shocking, because you're going to hear... I ordered this tape recorder on Amazon, and to be able to play this cassette tape. So we're going to listen to the actual audio, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're hearing, because it's supposedly documentation of someone actually transforming into a werewolf. So I'm going to talk about the steps of transformation when this change is occurring. Okay, so
this is exciting for me.
This is an exclusive, folks, because this tape has never been checked out this long outside of the library.
Chris, play the Dark of the Night exclusive.
We don't have that.
Okay. We'll just... I don't know. Just go ahead.
Okay, we're going to play the tape. Here we go.
Hello, this is Carol Bogard. It's 1993, August 12th, and I'm recording the documentation of some changes I'm going through.
So, this person, Carol...
It's almost so little information that I was surprised that you pressed stop to sort of comment.
Oh, well, I am going to quickly keep going. It sounded like that Carol turned the tape recorder off, and so I felt like a natural break. But you're right. That we're just getting started.
And that itself is surprising. She's like, exposition's over. Well, keep going.
We're not entirely sure Carol is a man, because Carol is Carol Lewis? Lewis Carroll. Forget it. Let's keep going.
It all started because I was on a picnic in the woods at night, and I got down on my hands and knees, and I found a wolf's paw, and I licked some water out of it.
So that is one of the classic first steps when it comes to changing into a werewolf. Finding a wolf's paw print in the woods that's filled with water or some other sort of liquid, and lapping it out of the paw print. It's a classic story that you find both in fiction and in fact in these accounts of old.
Yep. And what's so interesting is that it's so gross and stupid seeming. You know what I mean? Like, from a purely... Like, sometimes... This is going to seem tangential, but it's not. Sometimes I think to myself about an invention, right? How did somebody think of that? Like French toast. You know what I mean? It's a great idea. It's a great thing, French toast. But how the fuck did someone think of it?
Well, that's a good point. There's a lot of gross stuff that we do all the time. So at that party, that one guy grabbed Terry Crews' genitalia, and that was sort of a similar thing.
Yeah.
it was gross, but it was like, okay, I kind of get why that would happen.
So yeah, I mean, I guess, I mean, it's sort of mind bending that someone thought of casting a print out of a paw print and then licking water out of it. But
well, let's see where we're going here, where this goes.
I got the sense that I was changing. Something was happening to my body when I got home. But it wasn't happening fast enough, so I went back to the puddle with the Subway sandwich, and I dipped the bun of the bread into the paw and ate that.
So a classic second symptom, once someone has lapped this liquid out of a paw print, is that they get an urge later to go back to the woods. You're being called back to the scene of the crime, so to speak. And in this case, this person, Carol, is telling us that she wanted more of this stuff.
I want to know what Carol's feeling.
Let's see what she says.
Well, I started to notice in the mirror that my arms were getting longer and hair was sprouting everywhere, and my toes were getting longer, and my nose and my balls were getting huger, and everything was starting to get a little fuzzy all over.
So the transformation is occurring. And I can imagine that this would be horrifying to a person, not only physically terribly painful, but also just frightening. I mean, have you... everybody has had some sort of physical problem or growth that has happened, and it's a scary thing, but imagine everything changing at once.
I mean, it's a horrible thing to have to sort of list off like that, especially when the symptoms are not. I mean, they completely make to what I would say a conventional. People who are familiar with conventional illnesses, that the symptoms make no sense at all. It almost seems like a complete bullshit list of nonsense. And that in itself is terrifying. It's like in Kafka when you wake up as the cockroach.
Right.
I mean, it's so stupid sounding as an idea, but if it actually happened, it'd be fucking. You'd be completely. You'd flip.
Well, nobody ever imagined, George Washington could never imagine Elon Musk sending a Tesla into space with a guy in a spacesuit playing a Space Oddity. So these things happen, and when they do, it's terrifying.
Yeah, the imagination has no limit, and reality is horrible. So everything kind of just can happen. It's.
Well, let's see the next chapter in Carol's life.
And then during a full moon, I went to a neighbor's farm, and I ate the head off of 15 chickens, and then I ripped my clothes off, and I started running around in a circle until the farmer came out, and he shot his shotgun at me, and I woke up, and I had a bullet hole in my face and in my back.
So again, a classic case of the werewolf who goes out at night, does some sort of terrible deed, and then wakes up with just a faint, almost dreamlike memory that would seem like it was part of an imagining, but for the evidence, ripped clothing, bullet holes in the face and the body, and so forth. It's terrifying if you think about it from this person's perspective.
It's hideous. It's a big, hideous story
and heinous.
Yeah, it makes me. If that was in a newspaper, I'd roll that newspaper up and I'd just leave it somewhere because I'd be like, this is terrible to read. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's terrible because Carol could not stop reading or living that.
No, it's a living nightmare. So
keep playing.
Yeah, let's see. I think the tape is almost out, it looks like here.
When the police came to I don't know how they found me, but somehow the police came to my house. I ran through the back door and I started experiencing strange feelings I'm experiencing now. Oh, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. There's a full moon out tonight. It's October 24th. I feel weird. No, I don't want this to happen again. No, I don't want this to happen again.
And that's where the tape ends.
No!
It's terrible stuff. It's chilling.
It's so horrible to hear, and I don't mean to be offensive to the werewolves that we're trying to reach out to, but it's so horrible. They're so horrible.
They are horrible.
And becoming them is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know why I agreed to do this.
If I was going to think of top two words to describe bad, other than bad, I'd think of terrible and horrible. And those are the top two words I'd describe werewolves as.
I don't know. I don't understand now that I'm replaying our decision to turn me into a werewolf. I'm thinking back, and the two topics we were talking about was becoming a werewolf, and then the other topic was experiencing a 24-hour astral orgasm. And we were deciding I was going to experience one of those things, and I don't know why we chose this one.
Well, and I would love to answer that question.
Okay.
Well, I'm not but what I mean to say is I would love to answer that question. But you know that don't make this.
We were taking the road less traveled.
Yeah, and I was trying. I'm also not to get staticky and kind of fighty, but don't dick out on me now. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I was dicking out on a 24-hour cosmic blowfest.
Well, look,
Well,
we've been shown through your documentation that
Yes.
this is going to blow for you. But it's a necessary that what we're doing tonight is important. You know?
yep. I'm a cosmonaut.
Yep.
In a sense.
Yeah. Well, let's check in with the Nightcrawlers.
Sure.
So they're unsettled. You know?
Yeah.
As you know,
As
anyone-
they should be.
As they should be. Through that story, Dr. Watney asks in regards to werewolves.
Yeah.
If you're vegan, do you just destroy carrots or something? I don't think that any sort of sector of your personal preference, I think that's all fair game.
It's all out the window.
Yep.
If your sexual preference changes, your gender identity, your race, all of that is subject to mutation.
If you like skateboarding, not anymore. What's your favorite movie, Eric?
Porkies.
Not for long. Because you're going to be
Porkin'.
You're going to be undone. So, I definitely have a feeling they don't give a shit about aliens, so we should just make the Planet Fitness the common enemy.
Who doesn't give a shit about aliens?
Werewolves.
Oh, that's a good question.
It's not a bad idea, right?
Well, you might ask yourself, if this 1,000-year war has been going on, and aliens certainly have been showing up and probing us ad nauseum, why haven't we just banded together with them to take on the aliens? And to tell you the truth, I've wondered that question. I think that the only answer is that there must have been a time when aliens and werewolves had some sort of a non-aggression pact, and humans were just too stupid to kind of get involved.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm going to take into account the idea of choosing an organization, a corporate organization such as Planet Fitness that fucked us.
yeah, screw Planet Fitness.
Now here's the thing. We're going to call who should we call? We can call a couple different organizations. One is Petco to get some advice on this is the more positive path.
Yes.
If things go well. Some advice on grooming. Because
Yes.
if we do become allies with werewolves, we're going to do grooming.
Yeah.
We're going to have to groom. It's going to be
We're not going to just be one of those gross, wild, feral werewolves.
and I'm not going to be seen with
No.
any of them or
we'll
their,
be more
their own.
like ZZ Top, like a sharp-dressed man.
Should we call Petco or should we call the Humane Society? And now this is if things go badly.
Let's try the Humane Society
Okay.
once.
All right. We're calling the Humane Society. This is not a good sign.
Usually they pick up by now.
Thank you for calling Hawaii Island Humane Society. We are currently on the other line or assisting customers. If you would like to leave a message, please remain on
But
the
they're not
line or press
closed.
1. We are open
Are they
Monday
not
through
closed?
Saturday,
I mean-
9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Our website is HIHS.
Well,
HIV.
yeah, don't get too mad. It's okay, Eric. I know you're nervous.
I am, and
Don't-
it's
don't-
manifesting as anger.
Don't start dumping on everybody left and right just 'cause you're-
Neighborhood Petco, where you can get complete care for your pet from local experts.
What we're doing
in
is we're
grooming,
going to
training, and
call
vet care
Petco
all
to
your
get some
nutrition
advice
and supplies.
on grooming.
Please make your selection from the following menu. For grooming, press 1. For directions to our store, press 2. For information about veterinary services, press 5. For customer service, press 3. Or remain on the line for assistance.
Customer service. We're gonna go for
Wait while I transfer your call.
We're going to go for it. Now, if there's any questions you would like us to ask Nightcrawlers, feel free to tell us, because we're all in this together.
This is not my preferred route, and we do need to be ready to make peace. But how are you feeling?
I'm nervous. I feel as though I'm going to get... I feel like the Titanic is sinking and I'm on it. And I don't know if I'm going to make it to a life raft, or if I'm going to be Billy Zane, or...
He lived. Did he live?
Oh.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yep.
I mean, I hope.
By doing what he had to do.
Oh, because he
was kind of crying to himself as he saw the boat sinking. But she was saved, right?
Look, as long as I make it out of here alive, I have to tell you, I am looking forward to be more powerful, larger, hairier, able to rip open just anything.
Let's begin. I don't want to sort of rush forward on this, but let's begin.
While we're on hold, let's just get it started.
So what we're gonna do, night crawlers, is I bought some. Up.
Thank you for calling Petco Baratani. This is David. How can I help you?
Hi, this is Eric from Dark in the Night. I'm going to be changing into something soon. I was wondering, do you have any large tubs or grooming like apparatus for a big animal, a big
No,
an Irish?
we don't have anything like that.
What's the largest kind of? What's the? How do you take to groom the big ones?
We actually we are
Because you guys have grooming. You guys groom animals in the store. Is that true or no?
Yeah, we have a grooming salon.
You have a grooming salon, and what are the hours of operation in the grooming salon?
From 8 to 8 every day.
So
Or from 8 to 8 Monday through Saturday, and then 8 to 6 on Sundays.
So if I bring my thing in there, I drop them off in the morning, and then I pick them up late at night, or what? How long does the
It's
process?
normally about 4 to 5 hours. Here, let me transfer you over to grooming. They can answer any of your questions.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
It's nice to talk with something. This person has a very good bedside manner.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to kind of everybody in the store in one call.
That's what they call the perfect customer service experience. They call it the round trip.
And this song is sort of a variation on the classic. You can tell by that sort of delayed clap. I'm sort of getting.
It's nice to see you kind of get excited.
There's a mixture of horror and thrill. It's like going on a roller coaster, but then they did not put the bar down.
It's horrible when hearing you ask these questions, knowing you're asking about yourself. You know what I mean? When it's like, it's like that thing where it's like, hey, I have a friend who.
Yeah. Everybody knows it's you.
Yeah.
He knew it was me.
He knew it was you.
What is
Let's get this movie.
What's Weenus Grabber saying? They have any cages big enough to fit a man-sized wolf? That's a good question. I should ask. Okay, so Alex, just to be clear, just to fill you guys in on the process, Alex, you want to describe kind of what you're doing while we're waiting?
I am building a. Well, I'm building a wolf's paw out of putty, and I'm going to pour water into it, and Eric's going to drink out of it in order to turn into a werewolf.
If this guy sent me to a department and there's nobody there, I'm going to go book a ticket to Hawaii, and I'm going to show them what real customer service is like. And that sounds like a threat, but it's really just the customer's always right. They should know that by now.
So while this kind of absolute horseshit is going on with Petco, I've built it's hard to see because it's unfortunately a shade of white that is naturally blown out by light.
Yeah.
But it's actually kind of dripping downwards now. But it's a wolf's paw.
There are contours in the shape of a wolf's paw there.
Yeah. So Eric is going to.
I'm gonna lap water.
Hold on one moment, sir. We'll get you transferred. My groomers were busy at the moment.
Oh, no.
We'll get you transferred over.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
No problem.
What did they say?
He said that the groomers were busy. I can't imagine what they'd be doing. Just to also kind of inform you guys what I'm seeing, Alex is pouring water on top of his laptop.
I'm using my laptop as a plate, and it's the kind of thing that I wish that I wasn't actually doing because we don't have a camera on it, and it's kind of a joke that has no kind of visual payoff.
Thank you for calling Petco Grooming. How can I help you?
Hi there. This is for Dark of the Night. I was wondering. I'm gonna bring I've got a big old guy, big old canine. I'm gonna bring him in, and I was wondering what the process is. I bring him in, and then I pick him up. When? How long does that take?
Well, is this for a bath and haircut?
It's going to be a bath, haircut, and then do you guys do any kind of primping or scrubbing, and what are you scrubbing and how hard, or just?
We do the baths. We can do flea baths, basic baths, upgraded baths like de-shedding, stuff like that.
De-shedding?
De-shedding. Shedding. Yeah, de-shedding. So if your dog has an undercoat and sheds a lot, then we can do a de-shedding bath. So it just depends on what kind of dog you have and their coat condition.
And
that all of our haircuts come with baths already. And
how
many teeth brushing, nails.
Yeah. Teeth brushing.
Yeah.
Oh.
That comes also with the haircut as well.
I didn't know if that was something.
Come with everything.
Oh, okay. And now, how many? Is it a team effort, or how many people are involved in sort of strapping the larger ones down? And are they confined, or are they? It's
usually just one groomer. We're pretty good at handling all sizes of dogs. If we do need help, we usually ask for help from a manager or something like that if they're really large. But yeah, we go through an assessment during check-in just to make sure everything's okay, and there's no signs of aggression or anything like that.
Oh, I see. So if there's what qualifies as a sort of a sign of aggression? Is there? Because I would imagine that some of them are coming into a new place are a little bit uncomfortable. So what is there? Do they have to snap at you in order to get the heave ho, or do they have to?
Well, it's pretty normal for a dog to be nervous or shy.
I see.
During check-in, but if the dog is growling or trying to bite, those would be signs that we would need to refer out to a vet. So, we're not allowed to use muzzles.
Oh, I was going to ask about that
or anything like that. No, so if a muzzle is required, then we would have to refer out to a veterinarian that can muzzle or sedate.
Oh, so if the veterinarian sedate, so if I bring one sedated in, then you guys can, or you're saying that the veterinarian would take?
No, like the veterinarian, like if depending on the signs of aggression, like the severity of it.
Now, do you guys
a muzzle?
Do you guys provide lunch for them, or?
No, we're not a boarding service or anything like that. It would just be a drop off. The groomer would tell you how long the process would take, or about around how long. We'd give you a call, and then you would come pick up.
So if they're wearing, because I have, I'd like to put mine in outfits and whatnot, and so is there any sort of? I'm sure you take those off and everything while you're doing that.
The what? I'm sorry.
Well, if he's got some not clothes, but like clothing. Shreds of clothes.
Or like vests.
Yeah.
Yes. So all of the leashes, harnesses, collars, and clothing would be taken off because we would need to do the bath for a haircut and stuff like that. Unless it's just services like nails, ear cleaning, teeth brushing, then we don't need to take all of that off.
And as far as like self-defense and whatever, like the state's laws, do they apply in that? This is a question from somebody else, but my question, my question is my dog is he's not my dog, he is sort of me in a way, but I'm wondering what if he your experience is that these things are they like they like being groomed and everything, because what I'm just concerned about is I don't want to get him in there and then he has the power of a grown man almost in a way. Some of these big ones they're big and heavy, and so are you physically capable of throwing it around or whatever if he?
Yeah, we're all the groomers are physically capable of handling large dogs.
Great.
Like I said, if there is a large dog with a lot of power, sometimes we ask for help from managers just to put on the table. But once they're on the table, they're usually they don't fight that much up on the table. If they are lashing out, then we would have to stop the service.
Sure, that makes sense.
Just so nobody
or if they
gets
turn into a man
hurt or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, look, I thank you so much for your help, and I look forward. You guys sound like you're a great service. And
yeah, and this is this is Eric's friend, and we'll bring him in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll bring him in when he's ready.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Well, that was much different than Planet Fitness, I tell you that.
It was good, and now we have a place for you to go. And so everyone, here's what I want to do before you drink this, Eric.
Yep.
I want to take a picture of it and then kind of show it to one of the cameras. Is that crazy?
No, that's fine.
Because we can't move it, but I want people to know, because this is important. Because if this is a success, then
I'm not sure what the definition of success in this case is.
If it works. If this works, I want other people to be able to do it, and the reason that I want to document it is it really doesn't look like it would work.
No. This looks like a joke.
It looks kind of like we're two, assholes. So I took a picture of it. And Chris, what's a good camera for this? Just the A cam? It's being keyed. So it's kind of blows my. So I guess what you're kind of getting is a full kind of a Jimi Hendrix video experience.
Wait, no, that's on camera mode. I don't think you have the picture pulled up, right?
Okay, well,
that was cool though.
It was awesome.
It was like video art.
Okay, so here I'm gonna try to. So what you're seeing there is, and I know it's blurry, but so was the footage of the first footage of Sasquatch. So this is going to have to do. What you're seeing there is a white piece of putty, and you can sort of see some shapes there. That's the dog paw pattern. And what you're seeing is a close-up of my jacket. And Chris can't get out of that shot. Okay, so what you're seeing is a white piece of putty, and the shapes there. Okay, that you kind of see a little bit more. I've imprinted using only my hands a dog print, and because water is clear, you can't see it. But I've actually poured water on top of that putty, and using my computer as a plate so that the table wouldn't get wet. Now, Eric is going to lift up this putty.
Should I do it now?
Yeah, go ahead. And he's going to drink it. This is gross, and it's on my computer. That's fine. It's pouring on the ground. That's good. It's almost all gone. Okay. And
I really don't feel anything.
No! Oh God!
I feel powerful and animal-like.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Oh!
This is awesome.
Fuck!
I'm hungry for flesh.
All right, chill the fuck out, werewolf.
No, I'm an animal. You shut up.
All right, okay, I will. I will, okay? I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. I'm not meaning to shout. Yes.
Oh. Okay, well, what is supposed to happen now?
Well,
Is this a talk show?
I'm gonna, even though you are speaking, now I don't want you to be offended by this.
Okay.
Even though you are speaking English, I feel like I'm not sure you are able to be understood through the mic.
Oh.
So I'm going to translate. So your question for the Nightcrawlers is, no! I didn't mean to get upset. Sorry, I just looked at you. Here, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, nice to meet you.
So your question is, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Here's my plan, and you tell me if this is okay. I thought that we could talk about a ceasefire.
Okay. I shoot you first?
No,
or
don't
after?
don't shoot me. No, this is about peace. This is about peace.
Penis?
Not penis. You know, your ears are huge. How is there
You
some?
want peace with werewolf?
Yes, yes.
Tell me one good reason why.
I want peace. Here's why I want peace with you, werewolf. Okay, you want to hear a reason why? Here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is. Because there's so much wasted opportunity. We could work together, and we could just think of all the things that we could sort of hunt down. If we kind of got into a giant bus.
Like aliens?
Yes. Yes.
Like Dracula?
Yeah. Like if we kind of got into a bus and went across the country on a crazy shooting fest. We could kill Dracula.
Can I still have sex with human women during ceasefire?
No.
Oh. Can I have sex with alien?
We're done.
If I have sex with Sigourney Weaver.
You're done. You're done.
You're done.
You're done.
Ah!
I turn thee back into you. Just shut the. I will turn you back into your form.
No.
You stupid son of a bitch.
The ancient words.
Yes.
Ah!
Turn back, you dumb fuck.
I'm back to normal.
That didn't work. I mean, it didn't. It worked, but it was not a success.
That hurt.
And it blew. It blew doing it.
My face, the bones in my snout are so sore. You wouldn't. I don't know why I agreed to that.
Well, from the sort of other end of things, I also it blew. It blew looking at you. I wanted to take my eyes and kind of smash them.
What are the Nightcrawlers saying? Eric, you must keep your medallion crystal on when you drink the water, otherwise you might lose your humanity.
People were shocked. People were shocked. That's what I'd say. That's the general reaction. I would say that... Here's what I'll say. And I'm sure the Nightcrawlers feel the same. It's good to have you back. especially because it was so the having that thing in my place, the place that I like to hang out, this studio, was like if I was sleeping, this is how much it sort of sucked. Is if I was like sleeping while leaning up against the wall, and then a car drove into just my head. I mean,
Well,
it was just like, that sucks.
I guess the moral is we are not going to have peace anytime soon with the werewolves.
Not even close.
We tried, folks. We tried. We were the sort of a peace delegation. I put my own life, my own safety, my own humanity at risk in order to do this, and we failed.
Well, we need to sort of face up to that in the dark truth.
Let's go to the dark truth.
Oh yeah, baby. I became a wolf. And not many people know this, but when you become a wolf, you get real hungry. And I started to think about all the delicious foods that I could eat if I were at an all-you-can-eat buffet like the Golden Corral. And then I thought of that restaurant Fogo de Chao, which is a Peruvian restaurant where it's all-you-can-eat meat. And I was thinking about those Peruvian guys just bringing over a big hunk of hot meat, throwing it on the table, and I'm half man, half beast, just ripping into it, climbing around, saying, zippity-doo-dah, mama, I'm coming back to Tinseltown. This episode started off with so much hope and so much optimism, much like the youth of a dumbass. And much like a stupid kid, we thought that we were going to see Santa when we grew up. But it turned out that Santa, was some guy hiding in our closet. And he was on something, and we had to call the cops. In this case, the cops were Petco. And let me say that it was such a grand disappointment to come here tonight with that much optimism and to just sort of see my own words turn into lies. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not upset to hear myself say it, but my life is a practical joke played by me on me. And if that isn't cool, well, it's not cool. It sucks. But that's fine. Someday Petco will be viewed the same way that we view SeaWorld. And people will see all the mice and the gerbils, and they'll say they're sentient, and they should have been released 1,000 years ago. And we will all be culpable. Everyone on the planet Earth will be put into The Hague and will be tried by a tribunal of C-3POs because of the way that Petco is run. It's unethical, and if I have any kind of dynamite at any time, I'm going to use it in there. And that's not a threat, that's a vision. Under my clothes, I'm a mouse.
Thanks for watching tonight.
Yeah, thanks, folks. Thanks for taking the journey with us.
Man, disappointing journey, but that's life, right? That's life.
Life is disappointing, and the faster you realize that, the faster you're going to become an expert paranormal investigator.
it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's one that must be memorized. Just like the following. Shave me.
See you next week.
See you next week.